Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a Southern Kentucky man freed by Governor Bevin through a pardon last week says he was wrongfully convicted.
And 15 horses shot and killed in an extreme case of animal cruelty. We are learning more about horses some say were hunted in Floyd County.
Plus, 4 people are charged with organized crime after a scheme was discovered to smuggle drugs into the Letcher County Jail.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:32 on December 18th. I'm Madison Pergram.
And I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News on this Wednesday.
On this Wednesday morning, halfway through the work and school week, some schools are on delays and are out because of the slick spots on the road, probably.
Some are even lucky, not even in class right now.
They're already out for Christmas break. Well, we got a couple more days left. Let's go to Brandon Robinson. Brandon's in the Christmas spirit, and it is cold outside. It kind of feels like it should be Christmas.
That's right, Maddie. It is cold outside there this morning. You like what I did there? A little Christmas music mixed in there. But anyway, we're going to continue to see the forecast stay chilly today, and we're going to continue to see some slick spots on the roads, some frost on the cars, and a cold breeze that makes it feel even colder. I have some good news, though. I know that's a lot of bad news. Let's take a look outside the WYMT studios right now, and you see not too much going on. Fairly quiet this morning. Again, some slick spots on even the main roads. That's why you're seeing those school closings and delays. We're also going to see some limited visibility issues. That will be freezing fog, so just kind of keep that in mind as you travel. And cold temperatures. When you factor in that wind chill, though, it feels like the teens in some areas this morning. Yeah, feels like the teens. So max warming needed on the coffee meter. As you head out the door today, though, you will see temperatures climb, not a whole lot, but some, into the above freezing category right there at 37 by this afternoon. I'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, a highway in Perry County was temporarily shut down after a mudslide on Monday night. The mudslide happened on Highway 451 in Perry County near Big Willard Road and Couchtown Road. Kentucky Transportation Highway Superintendent Shadell Burgett says that this is something they expect and plan for.
It's every spring, every fall when we have a lot of wet weather, we usually have 5 or 6 to 10 a year in different spots of the county.
Officials did say the mudslide came off of private property and that nearly 2 feet of mud covered the road. That road is now back open.
You can drive on it. Well, though the road has reopened, transportation officials urge everyone to remain careful on Highway 451 in Perry County. Officials tell us while they did remove the bulk of the rock and mud, the road is still slick.
And meanwhile, Kentucky 40 in Paintsville was closed through the night and until further notice. That is due to a large crack developing in the rock cut near the road. They will begin work later today to stabilize the hill, and officials expect work to last a couple of days.
Well, after a controversial pardon made by former Governor Matt Bevin, the man at the center of it and his lawyers talked about why they say he is innocent. Patrick Baker says he was wrongfully convicted of killing Donald Mills all the way back in 2014. He was convicted in 2017 for his role in the murder. His family had a campaign fundraiser for then Governor Bevin, but Baker insists that had nothing to do with the pardon.
Pardon was never paid for by my family. That's something, common sense can kind of tell you that, but you're more than welcome to look into that.
Baker appeared with his lawyer who made the case that he was convicted based on dirty police work at the hands of state troopers.
And the family of the man Baker was convicted of killing saw him for the first time as a free man yesterday. WYMT's Katie Cook talked to Mills' sister as Baker's news conference was taking place.
Former Governor Matt Bevin's decision to pardon the man convicted of taking her brother's life still not sitting well.
Matt Bevin, you're a bald-faced liar, just like Patrick Baker.
The sister of Donald Mills reacts to accusations against the troopers involved in her brother's case.
Patrick has no tattoos, and he never has. There is an alternate suspect.
As far as like the investigation, they're going to pinpoint fingers at everybody else, to keep the blame off of Patrick Baker.
She says the troopers did nothing wrong.
As far as like the troopers, he done his job, both of the troopers did. They're just not happy because, Patrick was the trigger man and he was proven guilty.
And after reading the comments of others watching the news conference,
And somebody said, you know, he is seriously blaming our police officers now. This is amazing and stupid at one time.
Trying to keep a positive attitude through it all, Mills says a lot of people in the community are on her family's side.
It looks like it's politics and money.
As she and her family wait to see if there will be an investigation into the pardon of Patrick Baker. In Knox County, Katie Cook, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, as for the other 3 convicted in Donald Mills' murder, 2 remain in prison while the other is out from behind bars but remains on probation. Christopher Wagner is now 41 years old. He is up for parole in October of 2022. He pleaded guilty and testified against Baker. And Elijah Messer is 36 and was convicted of manslaughter and robbery. A jury sentenced him to 50 years in prison. He is not up for parole for another 17 years. And Angela Mills was sentenced to 10 years. She is currently on supervised release until July of 2021.
Well, we want to warn you. Some of the photos in this next story are graphic. Along a strip job in Floyd County, someone shot and killed at least 15 horses. The strip job sits near the Pike and Floyd County line along US 23. Among those horses shot, some were only 1 year old or younger. Some of the horses were even pregnant. Rescue groups out at the site say it looks as if the horses were hunted using a low-caliber rifle. At a minimum, the person involved could face animal cruelty charges.
This is very inhumane, and it's a very cruel act of somebody who just apparently had nothing else to do or whatever, just to go back on a strip job and shoot down horses who were, one of them obviously was feeding, had grass in its mouth.
Now, there is a $500 reward for information on this. If you have information, you can call the Sheriff's Office at 606-886-6171.
And 4 people are charged with organized crime after a scheme was discovered to smuggle drugs into the Letcher County Jail.
They made their first court appearance Tuesday afternoon. WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke with officials at the jail and has more.
An investigation that began in early December.
Inmates had increased going to the hospital with chest pains,
leading Letcher County officials to look into phone calls.
When the drugs were placed, there'd be a call that would come back into the jail, letting the inmate inside the jail know a code word.
The key phrase, "I've been to your mom's house." The inmate would then fake chest pains.
The drugs were taped up underneath the counter to where you go to the emergency room, where you bend down and talk to them through the glass.
This is where police say Charles Osborne would grab the drugs and then hide them. But this time, he made a mistake.
Because he clenched his chest, they were told to bring him on back, and he actually missed the drop,
leading to the arrest of 3 others. Anthony Tucker, Osborne's girlfriend April Baker, and her mother, Anita Baker.
This was the 3rd drop that was set up since about November the 27th. It had quite a bit of drugs. I mean, it would have kept people in that cell probably high for a week or so.
And jail officials have a message to others.
Don't do it. Don't try it. They will get caught eventually.
The cases against all 4 were sent to a grand jury. In Letcher County, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
The charge of organized crime is a Class B felony that carries 10 to 20 years in prison.
And in Lawrence County, a woman is accused of stealing supplies from a hospital and selling them. Louisa police say Lachey Hundle is charged with 5 counts of theft by unlawful taking. They say between 2014 and 2019, she stole medical and office supplies from the hospital where she worked. They say she then sold the items online and the money went into her personal PayPal account. She received more than $780,000. She's being held on a $10,000 cash bond.
Harlan County became a Second Amendment sanctuary yesterday. After neighboring states had started declaring their support of the Second Amendment, Harlan County decided to jump on board. This comes after proposed legislation in Virginia and Kentucky's pre-filed House Bill 534. If the bill passed, it would put restrictions on assault weapons and large-capacity feeding devices.
We feel like law-abiding citizens should not have their rights infringed on, especially those rights that are given to us by the Constitution of this great country.
The resolution unanimous and had no opposition in the courtroom.
And the Commonwealth has a new Attorney General nearly 3 weeks early. Yesterday, Attorney General Daniel Cameron was sworn in a small ceremony in Frankfort.
Krista Frost was there at the historic event and explains why he took the seat before his term was set to begin.
I, Andy Beshear, Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, do hereby appoint Daniel J. Cameron, Louisville, Kentucky, as Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Governor Beshear announced he would appoint Cameron to the position early to fill the rest of Beshear's term as Attorney General. This makes Cameron the first Republican to hold the position in more than 70 years. These two say working together won't be an issue.
Most people don't know that the new Attorney General and I have known each other for a significant period of time.
In fact, when I started at Stites in Harbison, I remember he was the first attorney to give me my work there.
He's not only the first Republican in decades, but the first African American to hold this office ever.
I hope it says to people that look like me that regardless of what your political affiliation is, that not only can you cast your ballot in an election, but you can also put your name on that ballot, and that you will be judged on your merit and your talent and your skills rather than the color of your skin.
Now, time was limited, not giving us the opportunity to ask about recent pardons handed out by former Governor Matt Bevin. But Cameron did jokingly say, hey, give him 3 minutes in office. For now, reporting in Frankfort, Krista Frost, WKYT.
Daniel Cameron will finish Governor Beshear's Attorney General term and then begin the term for which he was elected on January 6th.
6:42, a quiet morning weather-wise for the most part across the area. Whitesburg, Cameron overlooking downtown. All quiet this morning. We go on to temperatures, and those are chilly, and they're going to be again tomorrow, maybe even colder than this tomorrow, but in the low to mid 20s across the region this morning. Your out the door forecast going to take us only into the mid to upper 30s this afternoon, even with sunshine. It's going to be a frosty start to the day, and some slick spots are possible, so be careful for both. Guys?
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning.
Up next, we will have a pet in our studio looking for a good home.